Surgery is never absolutely necessary. And this is literally what I say to patients all the time. If you tear your ACL in the Amazon rainforest in the middle of nowhere and no surgeon is there, you will continue to live. We are meant to be kings of the jungle. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you don't ever reach that point, you can never really have your pride. Your mother could die on that operating room table, and you're trying to size me down for whatever reason, you know, like those small microaggressions. Again, it don't affect my check, right? So I mean, but it's like that happens every single day.
We live in a culture obsessed with intensity, more weights, more volume, more punishing workouts. But the real question isn't how hard you can push it. It's how long you can maintain mobility. Orthopedic surgery sits at the intersection of ambition and consequence. Dr. Nwannunu sees the end of the story most people ignore. The joints that didn't fail overnight. The surgeries that didn't have to happen. This isn't a conversation about fixing the damage that's already happened to your body. It's about protecting future optionality. It's about longevity, the choices you make, and what it really means to build a body that lasts. Welcome to the Alpha Renaissance with Dr. Nwannunu.
Things are going well, man. That's did you always look at your life or see it as being, did you picture it like that?
I personally did. And I actually, I never understood why people didn't allow themselves to have that period of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing wrong with none of my boys and family members that got married early, you know, but like getting married as a broke man is tough. You know, you have to experience this period of just success because you have to, one, see, do you love yourself for that? Do you like where you are? Are you comfortable where you are? And then if you are, then you can like really, really, really touch a lot of people. You know, like we are meant to be kings of the jungle. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you don't ever reach that point, you can never really have your pride. And like, I've never understood why people didn't let themselves like get to your prime. Like, you know, like why stifle yourself, you know, but I'm doing it now. I mean, I'm not married, but I do understand now that like, you know, once I'm married, like I know what it is to handle a kingdom. Now you did a good job. You have a wife, you know, you're good. You know, I'm not knocking nobody that did it, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But like for me, yeah, like I have to take all of this prime in.
No, I so for me, I got, you know, I was a late bloomer as well. Yeah. I'm 41, right? I didn't really find my person.
You look great, by the way. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shout out. You know what I'm saying?
Late 30s and you looking good.
We're good. It's good.
You know, it's all in the skin. It's in the weight loss too. It's like, keeping the weight down. I think that ages a man like overnight. But terrible. Yeah, man. For me, it's just been about. I feel the route that I took as a late bloomer, getting married later in life, was way better for me because I have the experience in life. Like I know what it's like. I'm not wondering what, you know, it's like to date this kind of girl or that kind of girl, or have this kind of experience or that kind of experience. Like I'm good with the experience that I had. And I don't, as a married man now, I don't want for anything. Like I know that I'm married not because I'm a sucker, right? I'm married because like it's what I chose to do, right? It's not. I'm not married because I was broke and I had to. This is the best I can do. Like my wife, who's excellent, I chose this situation just like I chose to not be, you know, and you know, married before. Yeah. So I think that's important because, like you said, like I think it's knowing what, you know, dating for so long, like I don't miss it. Yeah. I don't miss it. I find it hilarious, like when I think about like, you know, my previous dating life, but I don't miss it at all, man. Yeah. I don't miss it. Like it's
dating's tough.
It's
in this age especially, it's tough. So
I mean, for a brother like you though, I mean, man, you know, orthopedic surgeon, all right, living in a big city, hanging out. Dallas is popping right now.
Dallas
booming
is popping.
Practice.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, because it's your practice, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I'm a part of a private practice. But,
okay.
You know, but we're all independent.
It's all private practice, though. Yeah, for sure. So, like, man, you could just basically create your own destiny. What does that feel like? Like,
you know, the sky's the limit, and I mean, honestly, like it fits me perfectly because I was just talking to my mentor yesterday. I mean, literally as I landed the plane here in Austin, and he was like, man, me and you, we're different. A lot of people aren't like us. Like, we don't follow rules. We break rules. We set trends. We care about what we care about, and we don't like that thumb on our neck, you know. And that's what being an entrepreneur is. That's what being, you know, your own person is. It's like, I don't need someone to tell me this is what you do, A, B, C, D. No, if I want to go from here to Z to W back to B, I want to do that if I feel like that's the best that's necessary for the situation, you know. And that's what being an entrepreneur is for me. And then again, it'll allow you to, one, break out, scale, be different. And that's what really puts you on the map. You know, you can follow anybody's footsteps, but like if you go in and, you know, rest in peace to Mama Kobe, and just say, I want to do every drill that Kobe did, you're still never going to be Kobe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll be good, but you're never going to be Kobe. You have to break out and be your own to really, you know, set that trend. So that's what I do, man. I don't follow rules.
But I feel like that's a different brain, right? I've had many medical entrepreneurs come on, many doctors come on that are entrepreneurs and a heck of clinicians, right? They're really good clinicians. That brain usually doesn't sit together, right? Usually you're either an entrepreneur or you're a clinician. You know, clinician is typically a safer route. Entrepreneurship is risky. And those are two different personalities, right? How did you juxtapose those two?
Well, one, I always care about the patient, right? Like I think, you know, like that clinician mindset, I guess is what we'll say it, is always number one. Like, I really do care. Like, I can literally be in Costa Rica at a Profice wedding and somebody calls me about my patient, and I will go to the villa and I'll answer that call and I'll find out what's going on and give my recommendations while I'm at a destination wedding in another country. And I've done this, and this is not a lie.
Yeah.
So I always care about the patient. But what I've learned is you caring about the patient allows your patient population to scale, allows it to grow. And like, it's all word of mouth. I've done all the marketing, the talk to the primary care docs, put your stuff in magazines, the, you know, Google ads, all that other stuff. None of that has generated patients walking into my clinic more than word of mouth. So what I've learned is you cannot take away that patient care, clinician aspect. And when you do that, it then makes your volume go up, which then gives you money. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people don't understand, like, take care of the patient, volume is gonna go up. You're gonna get bread.
You know, it's crazy. Pretty much every successful entrepreneur that I've had on the show, they say something similar, where it wasn't the focus on obviously they wanted to make money, right?
Of course.
But they weren't actually as obsessed with money as an outsider would think. Right? They would think that, you know, they only care about the money, when in fact, actually, they care about something very specific inside of their business. What was that for you?
For me, it's really like somebody coming in, and one, I take it personal. If you come in, you trust me. And I don't take that lightly. You chose me, you picked me, you researched me, you were referred to me by somebody, and you trusted their opinion. And I don't take that lightly. So if you trust me, I'm going to tell you why I think I'm trustworthy. So, and then two, I trust myself. I feel like the training I've done, my knowledge, my upbringing, my integrity, everything that I've done has allowed me to make the right decision for somebody. And so once those things come together, like, I'm going to make sure that I do the best I can for somebody. And then I love to see people better than they were before they came in, because I've been blessed. You know, I've never had surgery.
Really?
I've never really had a big, you know, I've had like little sports injuries and stuff like that. Yeah, I played sports. Okay. Yeah, I was an athlete, basketball, football, baseball. Basketball is my main sport, though.
Okay.
I can still hoop right now. If somebody wants to go out, I'll put up some buckets, but I just don't want to tear. I don't exactly. This is the time now.
Number one
in your 30s,
sport right there.
Exactly.
We used to, back in the day, we used to do the turkey ball where everybody would come back home, come back to Chicago.
Yeah.
And then we do, the day after Thanksgiving, that football game. And, guys in that 30s, and that's when the injuries start to happen. Yep. We lose one every year to the point where we were like, you know what? No more. Turkey bowl is over. No more turkey bowl.
Yeah. So that's the ACLs, Achilles, all of that.
Yeah.
So one, I like that the fact that I can get up and bounce, have no pain, have no ailments, and do whatever I want. I like that feeling. And so when somebody doesn't have that, I want to give that back to them. So that's another reason why I like doing what I do.
Yeah. Man, did you know you were going to do this when you were a kid? Or like, when did you know? At what moment? Where were you when you knew that you wanted to become an orthopedic surgeon?
I knew I wanted to be a doctor when I was 4 years old. 4 years old. And I know as eerie as it sounds, I was like, I want to help people. And I'm talking to my family and I'm like, I could be a police officer. I could be a firefighter. It's like, or I could be a doctor. It's like, you know what? I think I want to be a doctor. I want to help people. And I'm a Nigerian, so I come from a Nigerian household. And in Nigeria, households, you're either a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, right? So like, my family was like, okay, you'll be a doctor. Like, that was easy. And I'm like, I'm not playing. I'm going to be a doctor. Like, okay, you're going to be a doctor. And then everything I did, I'm like, I want to go to events at the community college. I want to dissect pigs and frogs. I want to go to anatomy lessons. I want to learn Latin for medical terminology. I am going to a high school for health professions. I'm like, I'm not playing. I want to be a doctor. So everything I did from 4 years old until college was like medical based, if you will. And then in college, my pro fight, was an orthopedic surgeon. He allowed me to come and shadow him. And I was like, this is it. This is it. I've been in the internal medicine, offices, the pediatric offices, family medicine offices, and there's a personality in every field. You worked with ENT folks, right?
Totally.
There's neurosurgery personalities.
Everyone has
plastic surgery personalities. Like ortho personalities was like, yeah, this is me.
Yeah.
Sports memorabilia on the wall, music playing, everybody happy, high-fiving. It was like a locker room.
Oh no, that's what I mean. When I'm practicing, that's one of my favorite rooms. Is the ortho room is the room for the bros.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, we're in there, we're having a good time, and it's a lot of ego, but it does feel like a locker room. Because we're in there talking trash to each other. It's fun. It's a good, but we're also doing a lot of good. Oh, yeah. We're doing a lot of good for patients. And it's the same kind of personalities that we'll go and get a beer with each other.
Exactly.
Right. But we're in here actually making sure that, like we fix this person, that they have a good outcome in life. And, they have a changed life as a result of their interaction with us.
And just generally they're like satisfied, they're happy. It's like they're not coming in here grumpy and like hating the world. Like they're like, I get to do another hip replacement. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, let's go. Like I love it, and that's how I am right now. So I would say I knew I wanted to be a physician from 4 years old. Orthopedic surgery, closer to probably like end of high school or early college.
And then you say you're pro fight. So what fraternity?
So I'm Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Yeah. I know you're Alpha.
Man,
the Alpha Renaissance, it says it all. That's great.
I thought very highly of you before, till I know. But no, I don't think a lot of people understand. As Black men, like when we go into these different spaces and we try to explain that, we're from a fraternity. They understand the response is, oh, like you were in a fraternity when you were in college? You're like, no, like this is, Black fraternities and sororities are completely different.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong membership.
Yeah.
I've never met someone who said, I used to be a Kappa.
Yeah.
I used to be I used to be an Alpha. No one says that. And I think your experience too, where you had someone that you could shadow, like shows like how instrumental this bond is and helps propel people, not just in college, but professionally as well.
Yeah. And just, literally a full circle moment. We just had our Founders Day, January 5th, a couple days ago. The same person I shadowed, was at my Founders Day event here in Dallas randomly. You know, I didn't even know he was going to be there. And we were able to break bread and talk to each other and see where I'm at. And he was so proud of me where I'm at. And it's like, you know, it's just beautiful because of the frat, because of the bond.
Yeah,
because of the bond.
It was actually created, right, so that, you know, you had a talented tenth of the population, like this group of people that pushes the agenda of Black people forward at the time, right? Because you're talking about late 1800s, early 1900s. This is Reconstruction, right? Exactly. And it, you know, it's very, very powerful that these organizations are still propelling individuals forward through real bonds, real friendship. So I don't know where I would be without my A5. I'm sure you feel the same.
Exactly. You know, so, and even right now, my senior partner is a part of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Okay. You know, that recruited me into my group, you know. So shout out Dr. Miller, shout out Dr. Tolson, my boys, you know. So it's like they just all the noops, all the bond, you know. So it's a beautiful thing.
You being an orthopedic surgeon, you get to see the reality of what everyone is doing, right? You get to see, like, you know, overuse injuries. You get to see wear and tear. What is wear and tear? You know, when a person says, hey, I'm having issues with my knee and it's because of wear and tear. How can you define that? Because it's such a vague term, but it's used. And I'll go talk to the patients before I anesthetize them. I'm like, how did you injure yourself? They're like, wear and tear.
Yeah.
What do people mean when they say that?
So
what do you think they mean?
Let's say like jumper's knee, right?
Yeah.
Or patellar tendonitis, or let's say tendon elbow or lateral epicondylitis. What it actually is the fact that your tendons, which are avascular structures, they don't have blood supplies, they can have a small tear, like you would rip your jacket. The problem is, because of that small tear and the lack of blood flow, they don't heal as quickly. Muscles heal all the time. If somebody says, I tore my bicep, tore my hamstring, tore my calf, they're going to heal. They're red. They have a lot of blood supply. Those tendons, though, which are the ones that actually attach to the bones, those don't have as good a blood supply. So when they tear, they take longer to heal. If you continue to do the same activity that causes those micro tears, they're going to take longer and longer and longer and longer to heal, or never heal. And when they never heal, you have that pain, right? Your pain receptors in your brains are just going out of control. You have that lack of function. You have that decreased motion. You have that lack of strength, you know. And most of the people that are tearing it are active. So they're doing something to tear it, whether it's working, whether it's working out, whether it's just whatever it is. So they're going to continue to do those activities. So wear and tear is literally tearing something and wearing it out and not being able to repair it. And that's what causes people to have those needs for surgery or some type of intervention.
Is it something that we're doing on a daily basis, right, that contributes to this tear over time? Say if it wasn't even traumatic tear, right? Like from sports.
Yeah.
That this tear is happening, something that we're doing before the pain even shows up. What are those movements? What are those activities?
Well, one, I think, is you're too inactive. So
inactivity.
Your inactivity prevents your muscles and your tendons from being plastic enough or being able to adjust, right? That plasticity isn't there. So you're too inactive. So once you try to be active, your muscles can't like snap into shape. So you have to be active. The inactivity prevents you from not being injured during your activity. So what I tell people is you have to be active. You have to move. You have to walk. You have to go to the gym, and you don't have to go crazy. I mean, no one's asking you to
do 2 hours in the gym.
No, you don't got to be Ronnie Coleman. You know what I'm saying? You know, lightweight, baby. You know, you don't got to be Ronnie Coleman. Oh. You just have to have some type of activity so that your body understands, like, when you turn really quickly, when you lift something, like, okay, it's time to snap into shape, because you have muscle memory. 100%. But if your muscles don't have that memory,
but people will say you don't have muscle memory. People will say, it's a lot of talk on the internet, all the bro channels, they're like, it's a muscle, it doesn't have memory.
Well, muscle memory is a colloquial term you have myostatin, you have enzymes that allow your muscles to, go back to where they were when they were trained. So any of these people that don't say that, I respect your opinion, I don't think anybody should have an opinion, but I would just ask them to go do a little bit more research and study the physiology of a muscle, because that's not entirely true. Your muscles do remember.
That colloquial sounds like it's more of a muscle training. Exactly. Even if it's an activity, you train your muscles, you train your tendons to be inactive.
Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, once you do that, then when it becomes active, it's overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
It's too much for them, and then they get injured.
Yeah, man, that for me is like one of those things where you hear so much. Everybody's in the gym. Everybody's telling you like you need to go crazy. You need to do, 5-6 days a week. You need to do, an hour at a time. How much time do you need on your joints, working out, doing activity for you to be healthy and to keep your joints
Studies
healthy?
have even shown this. You need 30 minutes of activity 3 times a week. 30 minutes 3 times a week just to be healthy. Now, if you want physique, right? You want the look, you want the muscle striations, you want the cuts, you want the different, like just fibers to pop out. That's different. That's a different type
That's
of
called
training.
vanity.
It's called vanity.
Yeah, because if you 3 days a week is all you need, 30 minutes cardiovascularly for your joints. That's if our ancestors were probably doing our Neanderthal or whatever, humanoid ancestors were probably doing about that much anyway, just walking around, hunting and whatever their schedule was. But like for us, we don't need much.
You don't.
That's the crazy part. And I think the funny thing is like you work out, say you work out 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, right? You're doing that to protect your joints. You're doing that to stay healthy, but then you injure your joints working out too much,
overdoing it. Yeah. And that's why I tell people, like I still work out pretty much regularly, and I'm probably more than 30 minutes a day. There's a little more vanity in my workout. There's a little more vanity, I can admit, but it's just because I love it and it's good for my mental health as well. But I will say I'm not gonna go and squat 400 pounds anymore. Like the guys that have worked out with me know that I could bench the world. I will never bench 365 anymore. Like I don't need to, I don't want to, and it's like it's gonna hurt me. So you gotta understand as well, like stay in your lane. What's the purpose for it? If you're a pro and that's what you do and that's how you get paid, it's different. If you're just working out just to stay healthy and have some muscle mass and muscle tone, don't overdo it, because then you're going to injure yourself.
Totally. I mean, you have a great physique, right?
Well,
and
I try.
No, you do. I mean, especially as much as you work. What's your regimen like? Are you doing like more bodybuilding workouts? Are you doing more powerlifting workouts?
So I definitely do a mixture. I don't do a lot of powerlifting. I don't do any deadlifting. I don't do any power cleans, things like that. I used to do those. I don't at all, just because I feel like they contribute to a lot of injuries. I do more of probably a bodybuilding, I would say, but also like a high intensity type of workout.
Okay.
I also recommend, even no matter what level that you are, to get a trainer or some type of workout, accountability partner, because they will help you, and one of the folks I trains with, he has an amazing gym, has all the Cowboys, Mavericks, international players, top high school athletes, college athletes come to his gym, and we'll be in the gym for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's a mixture of, high intensity workouts at a moderate weight, but you're like supersetting a lot of different things. And what it does is, 1, it gives you that resistance training so that you help build muscle mass.
Yeah.
But 2, because you're moving so quickly, you get that aerobics training, that cardio. Because you got to get the cardio. If you don't, then you're not helping your heart. No. And I always tell people, I work out for 2 reasons. Work out to stay alive and for my babies, and I work out to look good.
Yeah.
But both of those are different
babies.
Type of workouts, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. No, I mean that. One thing I do too is just like time myself. Like the Apple Watch is just amazing. Or if there's a clock there. I literally use it because just to keep that tempo cardiovascularly for those weightlifting sessions.
Exactly.
It just helps to push it along. Yeah.
Yeah.
How often are you seeing those injuries when you talk about people doing deadlifting, clean jerks, all of all of the Olympic style lifts that have become popular these days?
Every single week.
Every week.
Every single week.
What's the most frequent one you see?
Right now, because a lot of people are doing a lot of pickleball, like, I'm seeing a lot of like tennis elbow, which is lateral epicondylitis, a lot of golfer's elbow, which is the inside. And I'm seeing a lot of like, the term is sciatica, but it's really like radiculopathy of the lumbar spine from like, herniated disc in their back. I'm seeing a lot of those. And that's just kind of like just you doing too much and you need to like calm it down. But I see that every
too much intensity.
week.
Like, so you playing, you just started playing pickleball and a paddle and you love it and you're playing all the time.
Hey doc, I played pickleball yesterday for 4 hours.
Stop it.
Well, yeah, that's why your elbow hurts. Do anything for 4 hours. That's overuse.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and the reality is what my patients hate to hear is you just have to stop doing what you love.
Yeah.
Until it heals up. But I it's literally every week.
I remember I started practicing anesthesia 15 years ago, and I remember the number one issue back then was CrossFit.
Yeah.
Everyone was doing CrossFit, and it was those damn box jumps.
Yeah.
The box jumps. People were jumping and missing.
Yep.
Okay. All the time. I mean, horrendous. People were like losing teeth because they were man, people were losing teeth, not even orthopedic, right? Like they were it was such a bad idea because you had people that really were trying. We all guilty of this, right?
Yeah,
Ego is stepping in, but like you get out there and,
for sure.
But I feel like every 5 or 6 years is something different. And now it's pickle and paddle.
Mm-hmm. And going back to CrossFit, it was even those pull-ups where you used to like have to go above the bar, like shoulder injuries were destroyed.
Those retarded pull-ups. Are those
that's not
I don't understand that. How is that? I used to see people doing it all the time, and I'm like, what are you doing? It doesn't look right.
It's not a natural body mechanic movement. Like it's going to injure you. You're asking to be injured. You're asking to like do the splits and jump off of trains at this. Like you're doing what your body is not supposed to do. It's not functional, and that's why people got injured so much. And I even know orthopedic surgeons that used to do it, and I'm like, why? Like how? Like what?
What about Hyrox?
So Hyrox, I can get with. I can get with Hyrox. Okay, I can get with Hyrox. So why I like Hyrox is that the movements they're doing, the lunges, the squats, like the weighted stuff, like those are functional movements.
Yeah.
I think you do those type of movements in a day, just normally, Then they have the cardio as well, and I'm okay with that. Now, I personally probably wouldn't do the full Hyrox. I think there's like different versions of it. Excuse me. I mean, I
don't know much about Hyrox. I just know everyone is like, do Hyrox.
I know, yeah.
I watch the videos on Instagram. I'm like, I mean, it looks cool, but I'm always skeptical of trends because I'm 41, right? Like I don't want. I'm careful. I'm a little delicate about things. I don't want to just run into something because all the 25-year-olds are doing it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you should do like, to me, I think it's like there's like a half Hyrox or a quarter Hyrox or whatever the less version is. I'm like, that seems sustainable.
Yes.
The ones that are doing the most is not sustainable. And if you can't sustain it, then why are you doing it? It's a trend.
Yeah.
It's gonna be here and gone. The things you should do are things you can do in perpetuity. Otherwise, don't do it. That's why, like, I love my marathon runners, but what happens? Oh, my feet hurt. I can't run for 2 weeks. I have plantar fasciitis. I got rhabdomyolysis. Like my kidneys are shut down. Yeah, no one's meant to run like that. No.
Yeah, David Goggins. You're not meant to run.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I do it once, just check it off. But like, why? Like they weren't doing that when they were running from Nobody's running 26 miles from a Tyrannosaurus Rex every single day.
No. Only the Greeks did that once, and then they made an event out of it. Yeah.
And then they found their land, and they're like, okay, we're good. So some things, if it's not sustainable over a long period of time, I really don't recommend it.
The marathon people are going to come after you.
I know. And I got brothers in a marathon, and I love y'all, man.
I had a marathon
sisters,
runner,
man.
a couple of them that come here. They did excellent shows, but they have a lobby, and they're serious.
I know.
And I mean, even running any content that I've ever posted related to running has done well. Just put running in it, and people love the running content. They want to run for the rest of their lives. But when should you? Okay, so if you're a person, you're gonna do the Ramadan. I mean, not the Ramadan, the marathon.
Yeah.
When should you actually do it? When's a good time in your life? If you're gonna do it, what age? What body habitus? Like how big or small should you be to actually do it? Where it'll be the least harmful.
Honestly, there is absolutely no restriction to that. Absolutely none. And I mean, even like there's it's a triathlon, right? There's a triathlon, which is like a really, really ultra, like high run, bike, swim.
Yeah.
There was a recent triathlon person that was like 81. And she didn't even learn how to swim until like she was in her 50s.
Yeah.
She taught herself how to swim.
That's so cool.
So I don't think there's ever a cutoff or a perfect time. But I think whenever you decide to do it, you need to train appropriately. And that's where, you got to figure out what that weight is for you, what that stamina is for you, whatever it is, whether in your teens, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. I actually do myself personally, and I'm recording it now. I do one day want to do a triathlon.
Sure, it's fun.
It's probably not going to be, now while I love my weights. It's going to be later on in life where I'll, okay, I don't have to work out today. Let me go run on the treadmill. Let me go swim a little bit. But I think and this is going to be just a one-time thing. I want to say I did it. But, again, I don't think there's a cutoff. I don't think it's a perfect time. I think it's when you're ready for it, but train appropriately for it so that you don't injure yourself.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I did a triathlon, I don't know, 7 years ago. And it was,
super dope.
For me, thanks. It was really, I didn't know how to swim.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to swim. Like if I was to tell you, look, I know I was a scuba diver, but I couldn't really swim. Like I'm dying after a minute. I couldn't swim. Competitively, no, I couldn't swim. Right. And I wanted to have something where I was like, okay, this proves to myself and to everybody else, by the way, that I can swim, okay? Yeah. Because I got a lot of activities. I like to kite surf. So if something happens, I don't want them to say, well, what was he doing in the water anyway?
Exactly. He couldn't swim.
He couldn't swim. No, I can swim, guys. Yeah. But it was humbling, man, because I was living in McAllen, Texas, in the valley, right? Yeah. And I had to go and get, instructions to, swim. So I got a private instructor, right? So I go to his house and he holds class there. And it's literally, it had to have been like 20 kids there, right? And it's like 6 p.m. And they're all like cute little like 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I walk in and they're like, hi, sir. I'm like, hello, kids. They're like, are you here to pick up your son? I was like, no, I'm having a lesson.
Yeah, I'm learning.
I'm taking a lesson myself. And it was, to those kids, they probably could care less, right?
Yeah.
But when I verbalized that to these children, it was actually very therapeutic in a way, because I just claimed it. I couldn't swim and I had to learn. And I wish I would have learned, when I was 6, but I didn't for whatever reason.
Exactly.
And doing the triathlon was, man, it was, what I'm saying is the specific, positives of it, right? Running, the endurance, for me, psychologically, it was just super huge. And I think that's a huge part of why people do those runs and triathlons anyway. They're dedicating it to, someone's memory, or they're trying to prove to themselves something, which has a property that is useful in its own right.
And I think happiness, is a spectrum, but a part of happiness is satisfaction. And satisfaction comes from literally working towards a goal and achieving that goal. that triathlon brought you satisfaction. Right. That's why I have to do it as well. I have to prove it to myself. Like one day, as much as I bash y'all marathon runners, I'm going to run this long race. I'm going to swim this long little thing. Like I'm going to bicycle. Like I'm going to do all the stuff that I don't do because I like going in and hitting the weights. Yeah. But it's going to be satisfying to say like I can, just like y'all did. And it felt good. No, and I understand why y'all do it, you know, but I just, you know, so that satisfaction I think is really what makes it worthwhile, for sure. Yeah. And that's also going back to that, like even you just claiming that like, hey, I'm here to take a lesson, and how therapeutic that was. That's a gem. And I hope people pick that up, because there's so many people in this world that will not just claim I need to do this. Yeah. They won't verbalize it.
I suck.
Exactly.
I literally like, I was so ashamed, you know, at this point in my life, like I was doing well. I was, you know, practicing, making money. I had a great life. I'm traveling. Yeah. And I had to feel water. I just was not confident in the water. And I would have never told anyone that. If you would have asked me if I could swim, I would have said something like, well, I'm not great, but I can stay alive in the water. Exactly. No, I'm dying. Yeah. I'm dying. But claiming it, man, was just, like I said, it's a quality in and of itself.
It is. So no, kudos to you, for sure.
Appreciate that. With, you talk about you wouldn't bench press or squat or deadlift. Dude, like these are... You go into any gym, you're going to hear a lot of yelling and screaming, right? And those three, deadlifting, the bench press, and the squat machine, they live in lore. Yeah. Mythological lore of every bodybuilder, weightlifter, anyone in the gym. They want to, that's the thing that everyone feels like they should be doing. That's the thing on TikTok. That's the thing on Instagram, right? And God, I mean, they're done at such an extreme to where there's so much weight, right? There are more than one ways to get to achieve tension, which is, you know, one of those is weight, but you see people pumping so much weight, man. Mm-hmm. How does that translate back into your orthopedic practice?
Well, one, the reason that is because that's a part of the illustrious 1,000 club, right? You know, like 1,000 pounds of, you know, equating squats, bench, deadlifting. If you can do those 3 lifts and you're above 1,000 pounds, then you're like in the Mount Rushmore of working out.
Altogether.
Interesting.
I didn't know about that.
So that's what a lot of us did, and I did too. Okay. I was like that. I used to, you know, in college, everybody knows, you know, I mean, even in med school, really, you know, until I herniated a disc. Right? So I'm doing deadlifts. I'm deadlifting 315. It's my warm up. That's 3 plates. It's my warm up. First thing, I get in there, music blasting. I'm not even sweating yet. I'm doing 15 of them. All of a sudden, I hear a pop. I'm like,
oh, you hear it? Did you feel it?
Yeah. I'm like, what? What is that? Somebody hit me with something? And then the whole left leg goes numb.
Like instantly.
And
you had the weights on you had them racked on your shoulders?
Oh, well, deadlift is where you're trying to lift. Yeah, you're lifting it up off the ground. You know, my form was great, you know, because it's like really a back and hamstring workout. So it wasn't like I'm just slinging it around. Yeah. But and it wasn't even like it wasn't my max. Right. It was a warm up. It was my first set or maybe the second set. And immediately the leg went numb. And then so I go to the bicycle, you know, I kind of go to the stationary bike. I ride it around a little bit, like maybe I just need to stretch it out, you know, it just doesn't go away. Then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just go home today. And then it just doesn't go away. And then at that point I realized something's wrong. Got an MRI, herniated. 90% of the times, which is why when your spine doctor or your family medicine doctor says physical therapy, NSAIDs, rest, 90% of the time it goes away on its own. Yeah. And it did. Okay. 6 months later, I didn't have to do any surgery, went away. Today, I have no symptoms. But after that experience, I was like, I'm never going to do that again. Mm-hmm. But again, that 1,000...
You were going pretty heavy?
Yeah, I was going pretty heavy. And that 1,000-pound club is something that people that work out really aim towards. Yeah. And most people will never get. But to get there, it can have, you know, deleterious effects, you know, and that's the only issue that, you know, that it just makes it difficult. But yeah, I understand it, you know, and I was there and I was one of them. But like I tell people all the time now, like you don't have to do that. Like you said, there's so many different ways to get that same
Go slower,
result.
man. I mean, go slower. Like it's kind of ironic because I got into bodybuilding because I was trying to become a better triathlon athlete. I did that one triathlon, was on a high, was like, oh, I'm going to do Ironman, and I'm going to do ultra triathlons and all of this. And then I wanted to strengthen my core to become a faster swimmer and runner because I was having some back pain when I would cycle and was pretty diligent about it. And then next thing I know, I just had all these muscle groups. I was like, actually, this is like, because it's an instant gratification, isn't it? Yeah, like, especially as a guy, like when you start working out, you look dominant. Like you look like a snack, and you look like you're ready to eat or take one from someone else. You know? And it's psychologically, I don't care what any man says, if that feels good, that domineering feeling that you have, and weights give it to you quicker than anything. Yeah.
And, you know, and I mean, you even like eat differently. You eat more healthy. You know, you don't do, you know, you're not gonna have a lot of sweets and sugar, and you're trying to, you know, cut down on the alcohol. Like you're like, I don't want to mess up this look. No. You know, and that's another reason why I definitely think weightlifting, you know, in addition to the cardio is really important because it helps your mental, helps your mindset, it helps just your outlook on life. But again, like you said, just got to do it in ways that just are sustainable and don't injure you, you know, and that's important.
Osteoporosis, weightlifting, osteoporosis versus cardio for guys, for girls. What are your thoughts on that?
So I'm glad you brought that up. So why weightlifting is important for women especially. So what is osteoporosis? Osteoporosis is where your bones become super brittle. You have less bone density. You have the same bone mass, but it's less dense. And I like to describe it as, instead of your bone looking like a bamboo stick, it looks like a styrofoam cup. It may have the same diameter, so same width, has the same length, you're the same height. You just don't have that same strength. And that's what osteoporosis is. So if you have a styrofoam cup versus a bamboo stick, if you fall, the styrofoam cup is going to crumble. Yeah. Crumble miserably. And now you're calling an orthopedic surgeon. Versus the bamboo stick, you're going to fall, you're going to bounce back. You may have a little bruising, you may have a little soreness, but you're going to bounce back. So where does weight training come into play? Bones are pretty much there to help us stay upright, to help us stand straight, to also attach our muscles. If your muscles are strong, they're pulling on the bone. When they're pulling on the bone's like, I need to make more bone. So your bone builds more bone. So stronger muscles or resistance training, larger muscles, more stress on your muscles causes more stress on the bones, which then causes the bones to make more bone, which then allows your bones to be stronger. If you do that over time, when you're invariably going to be older and less active and not working out as much, your bones are still going to be strong. And then you won't have that same osteoporosis or the same risk of osteoporosis that you would if you absolutely did nothing. So some type of resistance training, again, you don't have to be Ronnie Coleman. I love Ronnie Coleman. You don't have to be Ronnie Coleman, but some type of resistance training, weight training, will get your muscles strong enough to pull on those bones, to help your bones just create a scaffolding or underlying like strength. Loop. Exactly. Yeah, totally. So that it stays strong. And you can, and you should start that now, while you're young, while you're healthy, while you're active, while you can. Starting it later on in life is going to be tough.
I think you dropped the gem. Like that was one of the best explanations of why increasing your muscle and how it affects the bone, and that feedback tells your bone to produce more bone. Exactly. So that styrofoam cup becomes more like a bamboo stick, like it should be. Yeah. That's a great explanation. Wow. Like that was really impactful, because I don't think people can visualize that, right? Oftentimes you're told, okay, like osteoporosis, what's that? It's like, oh, your bones are weak. What does that mean? Oftentimes too, for people before they fall in that styrofoam cup breaks. Sometimes it breaks before they fall.
Yeah.
Because they're so brittle.
They just walk off of a curb. Oh, that hurt. And then I fall.
Yeah.
They broke their bone walking off of a curb. Like
that's gravity. That's always interesting too. When you have patients where gravity is the thing that's their biggest nemesis.
Yeah.
It's gravity.
It's gravity.
It's just gravity. It's not, and I'm not talking, they didn't fall just yet.
Yeah.
Gravity is just pulling them down.
Yeah.
Their body is having difficulty fighting gravity, and weight training is one of the ways that you do it.
Yeah.
No, man, that was super powerful.
Yeah.
In terms of that person does fall down, right? Or that person has a sports injury. They have an ACL tear. How do you determine who you should operate on, right? Because again, what do people do? Especially if it's not an emergency, right? Pop, break, they feel it, they get on ChatGPT.
Yep.
They get on Google. Okay. And a lot of confusion. It's like, I've had people come in. Again, I'm putting in a block. I'm about to block their leg for this this ACL surgery or this patella fracture or whatever. Yeah. And I had one patient tell me, they're like, I felt a little pop, and then I just put a heating pad on it. Mm-hmm. And you go in there, you look, and the whole leg is black.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not it. Like, you need to be here. Yeah. You needed surgery a long time ago. And then there are people that, if it's a strain, right? They feel a little pull, a little tug. They're like, cut me open. Yeah. Fix it. I want the most definitive procedure for this, so I never have to think about it again.
Yeah.
How do you determine who to operate on?
Well, and you're right. I have both of those extremes in the clinic every day. And any extreme is terrible. You should not be waiting years, in a wheelchair because you're like, oh, I thought I was going to get better. I was going to walk it off. You should not be coming in because you stubbed your toe and you're demanding surgery. No. But who to operate on? One is, what is your functional status? What were you doing before this anyway? If you're, our sweet pawpaw in the nursing home who was getting up and felt a pop, you may have torn your ACL, mm-hmm. but just go back to your wheelchair mm-hmm. and go mm-hmm. back to bingo. Mm-hmm. Nobody needs to mess with you. Mm-hmm. You don't need to go.
Because Papa not about to be shooting hoops.
He's not, right? Yeah. He's not, But if you're somebody who's, a laborer, you work, you're a mailman, you're a mail lady, you're a school teacher, you're running around with kids, and you feel a pop, well, you need to get back to your function, and although surgery is never absolutely necessary, and this is literally what I say to patients all the time, if you tear your ACL in the Amazon rainforest in the middle of nowhere and no surgeon is there, you will continue to live. You're going to have a little limp.
No surgeon in that. Are you sure you're an orthopedic surgeon?
I am.
No surgery is necessary. No surgery is necessary because, listen, man, orthos is well known, okay? My biggest, I love my ortho surgeons, okay? When I'm doing anesthesia, when I'm practicing anesthesia, I love it in the ortho room. My ortho surgeons are my buddies, right? Yeah. But you guys will operate on anything.
We love to operate.
You guys love to operate.
I love to operate. I mean, I'm on vacation right now and I was operating, but
fix that bone.
But if patients want surgery, we do let them know the pros and cons of it. I do think that surgery is going to make you better. You don't have to have surgery. You can heal without it. You may have some limitations after you heal, but you don't have to. But surgery will make you better. But it depends on your goals. Now, most likely when they come to my clinic or they get to my face or they come to my attention, they've made that decision already for me and for themselves. And I tell them the pros and the cons, and I'm like, I can do surgery. I will make you better, but you don't have to. But they're like, no, I want surgery. So the reason why we're always operating is because it's kind of, it's skewed. The patients that have come to us already ready to get operated on. Like, you know, they've passed their primary care doctor, they've passed the urgent cares, they've passed those places. They're here now.
So it's not just you saying that they've gone through the proper channels.
Yeah, and they want it.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
But I always tell them you don't have to. You know, the only thing you have to have surgery on is literally like a broken joint, like a hip. A knee, a shoulder, an elbow, like, because you need those joints to move, to do a function, and they cannot without that. Ligaments, tendons, soft tissue, you can go around without it.
Yeah. You know, you made me think about something too, like especially talking about ACLs, right? Everybody remembers Derrick Rose, right?
Yeah. D Rose.
We love D Rose, right? Played for my Chicago
Bulls. I know.
And
went to Memphis. His team lost the championship because they couldn't hit free throws. I remember I was watching that game in my living room. I remember that.
Great game. Like,
Great game. Couldn't hit free throws. Yeah.
Then he got to the league and he was the truth, man. I mean, youngest MVP.
Yeah.
In the league ever. I think at 19, he was the MVP of the league. Never has happened before.
Yeah.
From my neighborhood, from Inglewood. I mean, Chicago loves Derrick Rose. Yeah. And I watched him and I used to think like maybe he was too strong and too powerful for the limitations of his joints.
Yeah. Yeah. He was violently powerful.
I mean, those jumps was like his body couldn't sustain his willpower.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why it failed. I mean, you know, and other people that come to mind are people like Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
You know, Blake Griffin, or even Zion Williamson. He's coming out of his shoe at Duke as a kid.
Yeah.
Coming out of his shoe. Like the whole shoe disintegrated, you know. Way too much power for your body.
And he's also bigger.
And he's bigger too.
And distracted.
Yeah. Man. Damn, Zion. Zion likes Dallas too.
Zion, get your stuff together, man.
Man, my boy.
Go back in the paint.
I know,
my boy out here getting exposed.
Oh man.
Love him, but Jesus Christ. We need to have a podcast just for these young boys. They need to stop listening to the podcast of these basketball players.
They have to.
Because they're watching basketball, who I love, by the way, and I love their podcast, but they're watching them and I think they're fantasizing on all the wrong things about the success.
Yeah.
Like they need to fantasize about the positive aspects of the success. Because they're fantasizing about actually can be drawbacks, and they're proven to be drawbacks in these cases because they're distracting away from you actually being more successful. They're distracting away from you being in the court. Mm-hmm. People are not thinking about you in a favorable manner, right? You're getting caught up with OnlyFans girls. So
you're losing your legacy. I mean, like
over OnlyFans girls.
I mean, I'm not. I mean,
I hate to see young men go down, like get caught up in the game like that. Yeah. Like I hate to see it because it's so, when it's so obviously preventable. It's not like God, what was that movie where God, I cannot think of the name of that movie where the girl was like super crazy, but she was like 10 steps ahead of Gone Girl. Yeah. She was like 10 steps ahead of everyone. You're not, like if you end up with one of those, that's one thing. But when you put yourself in a situation where the end result is a Gone Girl who's exposing you for silly decisions that anybody might have made, like you got to rethink about it.
You got to, you know, and what it does is, unfortunately, hopefully it teaches other people as well.
Yeah.
Those coming up, you know, the younger generation, those even there right now.
Totally.
You know, even us professionals, right?
100%.
Teaches all of us like, man, if you thought that was a good idea, rethink it.
Yeah.
Because it can destroy it all.
No, man. Well, I mean, and for you, right? It's taking you so long to get to where you are. How many years did it take for you?
So 16 years of training. 16 years that's including college, master's degree, medical school, residency, fellowship. 16 years total after high school.
Yeah.
And then even after that, starting my practice, took it like a couple years to really just get comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, learning the business of medicine, learning how hospitals run, learning administration, learning implants, learning how to be a consultant, you know, like running the OR choreography, if you will.
Totally.
You know,
the circus.
The circus.
Choreography is a nice word.
You know, and that's,
it's a circus.
You don't learn that because, you know, even in training, you just kind of show up, do your part, leave. you know, and then everything else in the background is just happening. So it's taken years. So 16 years of training to get to my practice, but I mean, I'd say it takes 20 years really to be like, all right, we here.
Yeah.
You know?
In your practice, are you using any of those? So you have these newer metrics with longevity, right? Like grip strength, right?
Yeah.
What is it? Lower body force of power, like all these different metrics that you might have read like in a textbook while you were in med school, but they weren't necessarily big things. Now it's shifted to where a lot of people are asking about their grip strength, right? You had Peter Attia, he was on 60 Minutes. He did a whole session on grip strength. It was pretty phenomenal. Yeah. Are you incorporating some of those ideas in longevity, or what are your thoughts on those ideas?
One, I think Peter Attia is a phenomenal speaker, phenomenal mind, a phenomenal human. Like, I learned so much from him. It's like, it's crazy. Like he's different.
He's a beast.
He's different. You know, if you haven't heard of Peter Attia, please look up Peter Attia, longevity. You know, he's a beast. We are incorporating some of these metrics. It's a little difficult because it takes some buy-in from the hospital system and from the patient, right? You have to, you know, learn some of the wearable devices. You have to, you know, do a little extra step here or there. You have to integrate that information into your clinical settings. You have to then interpret that information. So I don't think it's readily available everywhere yet. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's very important. And I'm a big proponent for it. Like, I like technology. I like information. I like to know what's going on, because how else are we measuring it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this patient feels good. This patient doesn't. You know, I'll just look kind of my thumb. You know, it's an eye test. We need quantifiable data. You know, we need something that tells us, no, they are better because this, that, or the third, right? So I'm all for it. I just don't think it's actually being utilized, generalized, like all throughout, just because it's a little difficult.
It takes so long. Yeah. It's not even just the, like, everybody knows it takes, 10 years for evidence to find its way into clinical practice somewhat, right? But even more importantly, it takes so much longer, even longer than that, to disrupt medicine.
Yeah. And it's because, like you said, right, it's like the long-term data. Like, even me, I think I'm fairly, early adopter as far as technology is concerned, but I'm not going to do something that I have not seen as tried and true. Yeah. Because one, I don't want a patient to think they're a guinea pig. And I'm not like one of those God complex surgeons that just thinks he's a mad scientist and he controls everything. Like, no, I want to do something that I know is going to take care of you. Yes. And if it's not, I'm going to tell you, I don't think I can take care of you. I'm going to let someone else try it. Just because I'm not going to play with you. You're somebody's mother, you're somebody's father, you're somebody's husband, you're somebody's wife, you're somebody's child, you're somebody's whatever. If you're a dog's parent, like whatever it is, you're important. So I don't like the trial and error. I like the tried and true. Like, this is correct because this data has shown it. So I'm one of those people that, like, I need 7 to 10 years data before I do it. Now, there are some things that I think are just like navigation, robotics, right?
Yeah.
Like that's, I don't need you to tell me 7 years to show this robot is going to cut more precise than I'm going to cut. Like, no, of course. Yeah, exactly. Works. Let's do it, So that type of stuff, like, I'm going to jump on. Yeah. But like other things, it takes a while, and it should take a while for you to adopt it. And I don't think it's, if something has been going on, your 50-year-old, mentor has been doing it and he's had great outcomes. Yeah. Why would you expect him to change it? Yeah. So that's why I think disrupting medicine is a little difficult, because they've been doing good for so long, Your tried and true way in human existence is try, fail, right? We weren't doing double-blind studies until recently. Yeah. Right? In human history. But it was like, okay, did this work? Did it not? Okay. Yeah. Well, all right. Hey, you ate that. Don't eat that leaf. Yeah, exactly. Hey, try this leaf. Okay. He's not breathing anymore.
He's dead. Okay. No more the green orange leaves. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's pretty phenomenal. In terms of, I asked you earlier, how do you know to operate? When do you decide to operate on a patient? When do you not decide to operate on a patient?
So just going back to that, I think it's a shared decision. And it really is. I let people know I love to operate. That is my happy place. It's where I'm most peaceful. That's where I don't have to worry about picking up my phone, answering the text messages, because I can't. and I know that I'm making something better. I'm making an impact. So I let them know, you have an injury that may require surgery. But if you don't do surgery, you're going to live your life. But with surgery, you're probably going to have a shorter duration of not being able to walk or not being able to use your arm. You're probably going to have less pain because whatever is broken is going to be stabilized. And overall, you're probably going to get back to where you were before the injury. So if you feel like you need that, then let's do it. But understand there are costs to it, right? There's a financial cost to it.
Yeah.
There's a cost to being off of work or being, in a splint or a cast. There's a cost to, being at home. There's a pain cost. You're going to have to deal with some of the pain for a little bit. And there's also risk. You can get infected. The surgery can fail.
Yeah.
You can need another surgery. You could have scar tissue. You could have nerve injuries. They're rare, but they can happen, and they do happen.
They do. I mean, infection for
of course.
An ortho procedure. I mean, God.
Yeah, it's the worst thing ever.
It's the worst thing ever because the likelihood of, killing the infection is just, it decreases over time, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's the worst thing that happen, And I do hip and knee replacements, and it's less than 1%, but those infections are the ones that I remember the whole year.
Totally.
It doesn't matter how many surgeries I did, but I remember the infections because it's just so devastating. So I have that shared decision with them, like, I can make you better. You will get better. You will probably be happier with surgery after recovery. But there's a chance that things could also be worse. So what is it to you? Is it worth it to you? Most people, again, by the time they came to me, it is.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's why they're there. Like, I can't do this, doc. I got to work. I got to get back. I got to do whatever it is, and they want to go. But I just have to spell that out. So those people I will have a shared decision with and say, all right, I think you need surgery, and we'll operate on. What makes me not want to do surgery on people are people that come in and demand it. Absolutely demand it. Don't hear what I have to say. You are going to do my surgery no matter what.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
You walked in here. You can walk out.
Totally.
Like, you can walk out.
Yeah.
Like, this is not life or death. And that's what I love about orthopedics as well. Like, you're not dying right now.
Yeah.
You're literally not dying.
What is it about that mindset? Because I see that all the time in the hospital, right? Like, patients come in and they tell you exactly what the outcome is going to be, and you're like, hey, we're really good at this. I'm flattered that you believe that you're going to have a perfect outcome, but that's not promised.
Yeah.
There are risks and there are benefits.
Yeah.
And anything can happen. And like anything in life, we can't predetermine anything. We don't know. There might be some issue in sterilization that we're unaware of. Okay. And then you have an infection.
Yeah.
Right. That's not it. And nobody in the OR in that room, no one had anything to do with that.
Nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you, first off, where do you think that even comes from? Because it's literally it's a huge irritation when I deal with that, because it's like, hey, we're trying to help you. Don't make our job worse.
Harder. Mm-hmm.
We don't know what the outcome is going to be. We have probability that it's going to be great.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
I think because back in the day, and I don't know how far it was before, but it was like, your doctor was like, your dictator. You couldn't speak up. You couldn't say anything. You couldn't ask many questions. You didn't have to give informed consent. They just did it, and you went with it. There's a time where people were like, well, this is not cool. And I think that's when you had to get informed consents. I think that's when things started getting litigious. Like, lawyers started getting involved, had malpractice. And I think at that point, then there's like this, we could push back. And I think that was good because it took away some of the bad apples, right? Because you should not be just butchering people.
Totally.
At all.
It was good for medicine.
Exactly. It kept us honest. It kept the integrity there. It also gave the patient some type of protection. But I think now it's leaned towards this, like you said, ChatGPT life, this AI life, this Google Med life, where people think that they know more than you.
And they do not.
And they think
it lies all the time.
And it lies all the time. And then they also think that they're like, they're entitled. You owe them something. Yep. I'm like, you walked into my clinic. Yeah. Like this isn't like I'm trying to sell you eyelashes. Yeah. Like I have a skill, a gift, a training that you came to seek. Like you can't force me to do anything. And there's like a level of entitlement that I've seen more and more and more that's becoming very alarming. And I don't know where that comes from because I'm on the clinician side. We are, but like that's what I'm seeing more and more. It's like, no, you have to do this. You're this. You're that. Like, no, I don't. Like this isn't. I'm not your waiter. Like what? So I don't know where that's coming from, but I've seen that more, the sense of entitlement in from our patients where they're just demanding things that are just unreasonable.
Speaking of entitlements and privileges and all of that, do you deal with any weirdness being a Black ortho? I have to ask you that question. And it's not even, and I don't even think it's always weirdness. I think a lot of things are just kind of hilarious,
Man, I deal with it every day? It's for most of us that have gotten to this point, we've clearly dealt with it, so it doesn't distract us from what we're doing, but it's an everyday thing. And it's literally as simple as a patient's family member coming up to you. Oh, you're a doctor? Doctor, I'm just call you Brian. Brian, what are we going to do about my mom? Excuse me? Who are you? Like, what are we doing here? Why is this? Why are you so comfortable right now? Like I'm about to operate. This is a serious situation. Like your approach to me, although you may think it's casual and cool, it shows a lack of respect for where we are and what's going on. Your mother could die on that operating room table, and you're trying to size me down for whatever reason. Like those small microaggressions. Again, it don't affect my check, right? So I mean, but it's like that happens every single day. Yeah. And it's not, and it could be the nurse, it could be the older nurse, on the floors that like, putting the order, well, Dr. Such and Such doesn't do this order. Why are you doing that order?
So annoying.
I'm like, why are you asking me why am I doing the order? Just fill my order.
You know what you're doing. You know
like,
why you're doing it.
Why are you even asking
this
me?
patient in pre-op.
Exactly.
This patient didn't come to see you.
This patient, after they leave, has nothing to do with you. I'm responsible for this patient forever. If something goes wrong, my license is on the line. My livelihood's on the line. My reputation's on the line. Do what I told you to do. Don't say, oh, well, Dr. Such and Such doesn't do it, who, by the way, is an older white man. Like don't do that. Like I know what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So, and it can happen time and time again, but that's been happening. So for those of us that are in practice now, it was happening so long ago that we've learned how to navigate it. And my honest response is that one, I'm still a doctor here. And two, like I trust myself. You have to believe in yourself. Like I don't let people break me down. They could try as much as they can. They not. I don't know if it's a arrogance, a confidence, a narcissism. I think those are all negative, and they can be negative terms, but I think they can be positive in situations where you have to be that way. Well, you have to believe in yourself.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to know who you are, and you have to have a person in your mind that no matter what happens, no one can tell you who you are.
Exactly.
No one can diminish who you are. You tell yourself, I'm this person all the time, no matter what anybody else thinks, man. Yeah. How do you draw the line between some days where you may feel oversensitive versus some days when you really need to tell somebody, hey, actually, that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Or actually, I got to check you on this because you're not going to come at me like that.
I will say that, you know, I err to be sensitive and empathetic more than not. Because one, I was raised by beautiful parents that raised me with love, that were not at all, you know, abusive and dogmatic and all this other stuff, right? So I came from love. So I lead with love, you know. Two, you know, I'm a Bible believer, you know, I mean, I go back to Joseph when he thought Mary cheated on him and he's going to leave. And, you know, and then the angel comes to him in a dream like, nah, she ain't cheat on you, man. Like she's having the Messiah, you know, but he was still going to not put her out there like that. He was just like going to quietly just like, hey, you cheated on me, but I'm not going to just dog you and stone you like they can back in the day. I'm just going to let you go, you know, but that type of compassion, right? You know, so I start with always being compassionate, even if people I think wrong of me, right? But there will come an instant where I completely will just execute. And that means just, you know, get down to the business. I've dotted my I's, I've crossed my T's. I know that, you know, everything I've done up to this point is completely right and what it needs to be. And at this point, we're done. And I'll let people know that. And I'll document it and as such. But I have boundaries for sure.
Totally.
And I draw the line. Because at the end of the day, I still need to keep, you know, moving for the people that actually are nice to me. I got to still, you know, maintain my balance, you know, for my career. I still have a practice to run. You know, I still have all these other things to do. I can't let this one person shake me off of it. So I will tell people, and I've fired patients. You can do that as a doctor. Yeah. I've fired patients. I've escorted people out, you know, people that are getting loud. I just walked out the room like, I don't need none of that. Call security, you know, like I don't need to do that. You know, like I could hit you with a 2-piece right now, but why? What would that do to me? No. Now all of a sudden I'm in jail.
I'm like, in your situation now. Exactly. Yeah, I'm like you. No,
now all the other patients don't have nobody to take care of them, you know? So I do lead with love. I lead with compassion, empathy always. But once it gets to a point, you know, and I think that point is usually a point of disrespect, a point of lack of acknowledgement or understanding, then I just, you know, I just end the situation there.
Man, I couldn't have said it better. Yeah. I couldn't have ended this better. This has been amazing, phenomenal. Thank you for coming in town to visit us here in Austin.
Yeah, of course.
We have to do it again.
We got to.
This is really good. Really
this
good.
Is a good setup. Yeah. This is legit too. Like, I mean, you're killing it. I mean, I know everyone can't see everything here, but like this is legit right here. This is like he's not playing games. So if you're not following, listen to him. Hey, he's a real deal.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the shout out, man.
Yeah.
Dr. Brian.
Appreciate it, boss. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.